The year was 2005. The Vatican had a new pope, the first ever YouTube video hit the internet, and the UFC was in trouble. You probably know the story. A reality TV show, the last-ditch effort by UFC Dana White, called The Ultimate Fighter, airing on the only TV network that would take them. And at the end of it all, their make or break, their finale. It wasn't a bad night of fights by any stretch, but it wasn't enough. They needed a moment, not just a fight, and only the main event was left to pull through. It did.
15 seconds. Bonnar to the game day. Bonnar punches inside. Oh, wild gambit. 5 seconds.
After 3 rounds of blood, bone, and sweat, both Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar had earned their coveted 6-figure contract with the UFC, as the Cox Pavilion erupted in stomping and cheers. As Dana White tells it, the UFC was saved. Whether factual or a handy bit of mythology, it's no doubt that Griffin vs. Bonnar was a barn burner. It had everything you could ask for in a fight. Momentum shifts, a difference in styles, an appropriate level of violence, and a whole lot of TV show backstory. So, let's take a look at Griffin vs. Bonnar. For Forrest Griffin, this fight was all about cracking Bonnar at range. He primarily threw out straight punches and low kicks, aiming to enter, hit his man, and then exit. Make no mistake, he was no perfect range fighter, but the ideas were present and sometimes technical. We can see a Griffin jab land here, where both jab, but only Griffin lands. This is the best case for Griffin, where he lances Bonnar and disengages unscathed. But here's a more complex move from Griffin. A touch 2. Griffin pulls away at Bonnar's rear hand and stings with his own. This works because he occupies the hand that Bonnar might have used to parry. As the fight drew longer and uglier, Griffin still used his length to win exchanges, just staying long and hitting from a range that Bonnar's returns can't match. Before we answer the bell to the rest of the video, I want to talk about today's sponsor, you. The sport's greatest champions need rock-solid support to get to the next level, and we're no different. That's why we've launched the Modern Martial Artist Patreon with 4 tiers: Sparring Partner, Fighter, Champion, and Legend. Because, with your help, the channel can tackle bigger and better projects as we go from a respected champ to the top of the pound-for-pound list. But what if you sign up right now? I'm happy you asked. For all patrons at the Fighter tier and above, the team has been putting in some extra road work to bring you 3 patron-exclusive videos each and every month. This month's batch covers UFC lightweight GOAT Khabib Nurmagomedov, the lineal MMA heavyweight champion, the Predator Francis Ngannou, and the incredible first meeting between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. But it's not over yet. There's something for patrons at every tier. But I'll mention the highlights. Monthly polls about which fighters to cover, bi-monthly live chats, an exclusive community, end roll shoutouts, and much, much more. Of course, every view, like, and share is instrumental in helping the channel, and the team is extremely grateful. But if you like what we do and want to see even more, sign up for the Modern Martial Artist Patreon today. These types of exchanges were far and few between though. Instead, a more typical encounter saw Griffin enter with a long punch and leave himself out there just a little too long, letting Stephan Bonnar truly enter the fight. Bonnar excelled in close encounters. throwing mainly alternating hooks to upset Griffin as he lunged. This is a pretty typical exchange, as Griffin steps in with a sloppy 2 and eats a right hand for it. He gets out of the way just in time to avoid the following left hook, but this is still a losing exchange for Griffin, and he acknowledges it. Look here as well, where Griffin throws a lazy jab and gets his comeuppance for it. He may be trying to frame Bonnar away, but he's a stationary target, and importantly, he's hunched over at the waist. This lets Bonnar simply pass the frame on the inside and land his combination. We actually get a nice little exchange just before, where Griffin feints and draws out a parry from Bonnar. With Bonnar's right hand away from his head, Griffin lands a wide left hook, and Bonnar just thumps back with a right hand of his own. Some of his best punches came as counter jabs. Here, both men jab at the same time, and Griffin leaves his head out there as bait for his own attempt at a counter. Bonnar, rather than committing to something hard, just cracks a jab, pulls away from the return, and tags him again with a second jab, as Griffin fails to reset in time. Bonnar also liked to get in behind double jabs, but with mixed results. In the early minutes of the fight, we can see Bonnar use it successfully to chew up ground and press into Griffin, but Griffin moves well, frames, and cracks Bonnar with a hard right hand that sends him spiraling. Interestingly, a double jab also introduces Bonnar's best moment, as he uses it to bully Griffin backwards. Griffin tries to smother with a clinch, and Bonnar lands an excellent knee. Despite appearances in the last bit of footage, the clinch was almost a boon for Griffin. And if we continue that bit of footage, we can see exactly why. As Bonnar chases his man down, Griffin actually returns to the very place that almost got him finished. This is for a very simple reason. If he can tie Bonnar up, Bonnar's offense is limited. Griffin knows that although the clinch is hardly a safe place to be, it's his best bet to survive a pocket boxer like Bonnar, tying Bonnar into clinch exchanges for around 40 seconds in one go. Griffin doesn't win these exchanges. He's most certainly on the ropes, but he survives. Tying up a puncher is a classic tactic, completely smothering their ability to maintain range and generate power with their strikes, using it to create scrambles and exits from which he could hit Bonnar. He's able to prioritize defense and offense in the same exchange. So, we can be honest. Griffin versus Bonnar is largely a mess. But that's what makes it so good. That both men are raw enough to hit and get hit in every exchange. But behind the car crash and the chaos, there does exist a game plan. Griffin's win was predicated upon his dedication to the long range and a smothering clinch, whilst Bonnar kept the fight on a knife's edge with his dedication to counterpunching. We've had a million better fights since, on a technical level, but there's something irreplaceable about the finale of Tough 1. And it's easy to see why it's gone down and will always be remembered as the fight that saved the UFC. For the Modern Martial Artist, this has been Coby McKinley, wishing you happy training.